It's time to have a real conversation about your kids, our kids, and anti-social media. Have you noticed your kids can scroll on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube for hours, but they can focus on homework for 10 minutes? You're not imagining that. A lot of parents are seeing the same pattern. And researchers are starting to understand why. These algorithms are designed to keep your kids glued to their devices. Facebook's own researchers found that Instagram was making teenage girls feel worse about their bodies, but they kept building it anyway. Let that sink in. These tech companies are not looking out for our kids. This is the truth. So then the question becomes this: did kids suddenly change, or did the digital world around them change? If you're a mom with a middle schooler or teenager, you've probably noticed some changes. Maybe your child used to read, draw, build with Legos, and now everything competes with this damn phone. Maybe bedtime has turned into scrolling until midnight. Maybe your kid suddenly worries about how they look, or how popular they are, or what everyone else is doing. And I know you're wondering, what's going on? I am Dr. Sharona, and as a mom of two, I have been there. I work with parents and mental health professionals who are trying to help kids grow up healthy in a world of social media, or what I call anti-social media, and AI. And here's the good news. Yes, there's good news. You don't have to become a tech expert to protect your kids. You just need a few simple guardrails, and we're going to talk about those guardrails. Has your kid ever opened up YouTube to watch one video and somehow an hour later they're watching something completely different? That's not random. That is the algorithm doing exactly what it was designed to do. These apps, these programs are constantly collecting data, learning what keeps you and your kids watching, and then they show you more of it. The first thing smart parents do is teach their kids how these apps actually work. If you explain that when they open TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, or YouTube, they're not seeing random content, they are seeing what a computer thinks will keep them watching the longest. That these systems are very good at finding emotional triggers. Drama, comparison, conflict, your kids will understand. They will. So one of the most powerful things a parent can teach a kid is this sentence: you are not choosing your feed. The algorithm is choosing for you because it knows what keeps you watching the longest. When kids understand that, they start seeing social media differently. Another question: why can kids scroll for 3 hours but say reading a book is boring? Because apps are designed to give the brain constant stimulation, constant dopamine hits. It's like a slot machine. Once the brain gets used to that speed, normal things feel slow and boring. It's true. This is where parents start noticing changes. A kid who used to finish homework quickly now checks their phone every few minutes. A child who used to fall asleep easily now stays up scrolling. A confident kid suddenly compares themselves to everyone else online. Sometimes the change is small but noticeable. Your child is sitting right next to you, but their mind is somewhere completely different. Here's something that surprises a lot of parents. Many tech executives delay giving smartphones to their own kids. What does that tell you? You don't have to rush this. You don't have to say yes as soon as they ask for a phone. Explain to your kids why you are saying not now. Explain that it's for their own good and not because you want to punish them. If they're old enough to understand, pull up a study or two. Have them read it with you. Or there's a ton of documentaries on the downside of social media. Let them pick one and watch it together. Educate your kids so they become smart consumers, not passive ones. That's the difference. Teach them that they can take control of their own brains and they can be in charge if they are smart about it. Second thing smart parents do is slow down the timeline. A lot of parents feel pressure to give kids smartphones as soon as they ask for it. But Research shows that the earlier kids jump into social media, the more likely they are to struggle with sleep, attention, anxiety, depression. This doesn't mean banning technology, it means giving kids time to grow up before algorithms start shaping how they're seeing themselves and the world. What protects kids the most from social media stress is putting their phones down and going outside to connect with real kids or nature. Go on a walk together. You do not have to even talk. Just walk outside, side by side, or let them go forward. Start with 10 minutes a day. That's it. It doesn't have to be a big change, or it has to be like a big thing you have to plan every day. Small. That one small change will make you see big impact. And the strongest protection kids have is a life outside of the screen. When kids feel good at things in the real world, like sports, music, art, building things, they don't depend on social media as much. But when social media becomes the main place where identity happens, that's when problems start. That's when likes affect mood. That's when one mean comment ruins an entire day or week. Smart parents create little or big pockets for time for real life. The biggest myth parents hear about technology is this: kids will just figure it out. That's not true. These apps are built by teams of engineers and psychologists whose job is to keep people hooked. So kids shouldn't have to fight that alone. The difference between families who feel overwhelmed by technology and families who guide it usually comes down to three simple things. Teach kids how these apps work, slow down the timeline on giving them a device, and build a life that exists outside of the screen. You don't need to understand every new app. You don't need to be a tech expert. You just need the right principles. And something important is happening right now. Parents around the world are speaking up. New laws, new lawsuits, and advocacy groups are pushing tech companies to make platforms safer for kids. In other words, parents are not powerless. You are not powerless. The first step is understanding what's going on. You don't need to understand every app your kid uses, but if you understand how these systems work, you can guide your family through it. You have more power than you realize. If you are a parent trying to raise healthy kids in a world of anti-social media and AI, that's one of the things this channel is about. I break down what's happening in technology and what families can actually do to protect themselves. So if that would help your family, follow along.